We all have that version of ourselves, the one who flinches at the first sign of discomfort, who gives up before even starting, who lives in fear, drowns in doubt, and craves the approval of everyone except the one who truly matters, yourself. It's that weak person inside of you. It's not a stranger. It's the voice that says, maybe later, it's too hard, what if I fail? It's the one who tells you to stay quiet, stay small, stay the same. It wears your face but speaks in someone else's fear. And it's been running the show for far too long. You want to grow, then something has to die. You want to change, then you can't keep feeding the coward in the mirror. The weak person isn't evil, but they are the reason you're still stuck. Still dreaming instead of doing. Still watching instead of becoming. So kill them, not with hate, but with truth. Not with rage, but with discipline. Starve them of your excuses. Drown them in your effort. Bury them under every early morning you show up when it's hard. Every rap you finish when it burns. Every word you speak when your voice shakes. This isn't about perfection, it's about evolution. The weak version of you was necessary once. They kept you safe, helped you survive, but you're not trying to survive anymore. You're trying to build, lead, inspire, win. You're trying to live, and that requires war. A war inside. It won't be easy. That weaker voice will whisper loud at first, begging you to come back, to settle. But you don't owe that voice anything anymore. You've got work to do, dreams to chase, strength to build, a life to earn. So the next time you feel fear, feel doubts, feel small, remember, it's just the ghost of who you used to be, asking for one more day. The weak version of yourself is not a stranger. It's not someone you've never met. In fact, it's someone you know very well, too well. It's a quiet whisper in your mind that convinces you to hit snooze instead of getting up. It's a hesitation in your step when you're supposed to move forward. It's a hand that pulls you back when you try to take a risk. This version of you is built on fear, shaped by doubt, and nurtured by laziness. It feeds on comfort, on routine, on excuses disguised as reasons. And the worst part is, it doesn't shout, it doesn't argue, it simply exists, subtly influencing every decision you make when you're not paying attention. This weak self isn't evil, it's not malicious. In some ways, it was born out of protection. Maybe it came from a time when you were hurt, embarrassed, or broken. Maybe it was your shield when the world felt like too much. And at one point, it served a purpose. But what protected you yesterday is now what's holding you hostage today. The weak version of you is the part that clings to the past, to safe zones, to mediocrity. It doesn't want growth, it wants safety. And safety is the enemy of progress when it becomes your only goal. You can recognize this version of yourself when you set a goal but never follow through. It's the reason you talk about plans more than you act on them. It's why you're always almost ready but never quite there. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, or what if I fail? Or maybe I'm not good enough. That's not the real you. It's the weak you, the one that's afraid of what might happen if you actually tried. It doesn't want you to fail, but it also doesn't want you to succeed. It wants you to stay in the middle, comfortable, predictable, unfulfilled. You see, the weak version of you doesn't show up just once. It's not a one-time enemy you defeat and move on from. It's a constant shadow. It adapts, it learns your fears, it knows your habits. It disguises itself as logic, pretending to protect you when really it's only trying to keep you small. It tells you that you're tired, that you deserve a break, that someone else will do it better anyway. It knows how to push your buttons, how to rationalize, delay, and disguise laziness as pain. To move move forward, you have to start noticing it in real time. You have to catch it in the act when it tells you not to speak up, not to apply, not to try, not to dream. You need to pause and ask, who is speaking right now? My stronger self or my weaker self? The answer will shape what happens next. Most people never ask. Most people let that weak self drive without ever challenging its authority. The truth is, the life you want, the goals you've written down, the dreams you carry, they don't belong to the weak version of you. That version isn't capable of building that kind of life. Only the strong version of you can handle it. The version that's uncomfortable, that wakes up early, that risks being misunderstood, that tries and fails and tries again. But to live as that person, the weaker one has to go, and not gently. You can't negotiate with fear. You can't make peace with laziness. You can't compromise with excuses. You have to draw a line and say, not anymore. This isn't about shame or self-hate. It's about accountability. It's about realizing that every day you either feed the strong version or the weak one. You're either reinforcing discipline or reinforcing doubt. There is no neutral. Every action you take is a vote for who you are becoming, and yes, it will be hard. The weak self doesn't go down without a fight. It will fight you with temptation, with distraction, with comfort. It will pull every trick to keep you where you are. But once you begin to see it for what it is, you take its power away. Once you understand that it's not the real you, not the best you, you can start to move differently. You can separate your emotions from your values. You can choose what's right over what's easy. You can wake up even when you're tired. You can speak up even when your voice shakes. You can keep showing up, not because you feel strong, but because you've decided not to be weak. Recognizing the weak version of yourself is the first step to building the life you actually want. Because until you can see it, you'll keep living under its influence. You'll keep mistaking it for your identity, your personality, your limits. But it's not you. It's just the part of you that's afraid. And fear is not a compass. Fear is not a leader. Fear is not your future. You are. So start there, recognize it, call it out, look it in the eye, and then choose differently again and again until the weak version of you has no more say. Change is not something that simply happens to you. It's something you must choose again and again. But what most people don't realize is that change, real lasting change, isn't about just adding new habits or chasing new goals. It's about letting go. It's about release. Because to grow, you can't just build on top of the old version of yourself. You have to tear parts of it down. You have to recognize that the person you've been, the one who made excuses, who avoided challenges, who lived in comfort, that person cannot come with you into your next chapter. That version of you doesn't have the strength to carry what your future demands. Growth demands sacrifice, and not just the sacrifice of time or effort, but identity. You have to give up the stories you've told yourself to stay comfortable. The ones that say, I'm just not that kind of person, or I've always been this way, or that's just how I am. Those are not facts. They are excuses. They are walls you built to protect yourself from effort, from risk, from failure. And as long as you keep believing them, you stay locked inside a life you've outgrown. Letting go doesn't feel easy because the things you need to leave behind are often familiar. They're routines, patterns, ways of thinking that you've practiced for years. Maybe it's procrastination that used to be harmless but has now become a way of life. Maybe it's fear of rejection that started small but now controls your voice. Maybe it's the need to be liked, the need to stay safe, the need to avoid conflict. These things cling to you not because they serve you, but because they've always been there. But just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's right. Just because it feels comfortable doesn't mean it's helping you. Progress will require you to make room, You don't become your stronger self by staying full of doubt, insecurity, and habits that waste your potential. You have to clear space. And that means letting go of distractions, letting go of blaming others, letting go of waiting for perfect timing. It means choosing effort when it would be easier to coast. It means making decisions that your past self might not understand or even agree with. And that's okay, because you are not here to keep repeating who you've been. You're here to become who you're meant to be. There will be resistance. Part of you will want to cling to the old ways. It'll tell you that change is too risky, that growth is too painful. It'll try to convince you that what you have now is good enough, that you should be grateful and not want more. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't come from settling, it comes from striving. It comes from stretching yourself beyond your current limits. And yes, that means facing discomfort. It means failing sometimes. It means doing things before you feel ready. But discomfort is not the enemy. Complacency is. There's a price for everything. And the price of becoming your stronger self is high. It costs you your ego. It costs you your excuses. It costs you the stories that have kept you small. But the reward is freedom. The reward is strength. The reward is a life that's not built on fear, but on purpose. And to get there, you have to make a decision. Do you want to protect who you've been or build who you're becoming? It's not a one-time choice. Letting go is a daily practice. Every time you say no to distraction and yes to discipline, you're letting go. Every time you choose to speak up instead of stay silent, you're letting go. Every time you push past your comfort zone and keep going when it gets hard, you're letting go. And over time, those choices add up. They transform you. They shape you into someone stronger, more focused, more resilient. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know exactly who you'll become. You just need to know what you're willing to leave behind. And if you're serious about change, then let go of waiting for permission. Let go of the idea that motivation will magically show up. Let go of the belief that you need to feel ready to begin. You don't. You just need to begin, because action is what brings clarity. Discipline is what builds strength. And sacrifice is what unlocks growth. The person you want to be already exists within you, but they're buried under the weight of who you've been. Start letting go of that weight. Release the doubts, release the fears, release the comfort that's been choking your potential. You don't need it anymore. What you need is to move forward. And that forward movement begins the moment you're willing to say, I'm done being who I was, and I'm ready to become who I'm meant to be. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Let go and grow. Weakness is not something you can reason with. It doesn't care how badly you want to change. It won't back off just because you feel inspired for a moment or decide you're tired of where you are. Emotion might spark the idea of change, but it won't carry you through. Motivation fades. Excitement wears off. The only thing that truly dismantles weakness is action. If you want to rise, to become stronger, to break the cycle you've been trapped in, then you have to do the work, especially when you don't feel like it. You have to fight back, not with big emotional bursts, but with small, disciplined choices made every single day. Discipline is the muscle you build when motivation fails you. It's the quiet decision to keep going when no one is watching. It's not dramatic or flashy. It's simple, boring, and often repetitive, but it's also powerful. You wake up and do the thing. You show up, whether you're tired, busy, scared, or sore. And the more you do it, the stronger you become. You don't have to feel brave or confident. You just have to do what needs to be done anyway. The world is full of people who want to be something, do something, become something, but one alone gets you nowhere. The difference between the ones who change and the ones who don't is found in their habits, in their actions, in their ability to keep going through boredom, failure, and pain. People who win aren't made of magic, They're made of discipline. They've trained themselves to do what's necessary, even when it's not fun. They've chosen discomfort again and again until it became normal. Weakness thrives in comfort. It loves when you delay, when you skip a day, when you say, I'll do it tomorrow. Every time you let it slide, weakness gets stronger. It feeds on your excuses. It feeds on your mood. It waits for you to make decisions based on how you feel instead of what you know you need to do. And that's the trap, because discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it just demands action. If you want to change your life, you don't need a better plan or the perfect timing, you need discipline. You need to wake up and start moving before you feel ready. You need to train yourself to follow through. Not sometimes, not when it's easy, always. That's how you destroy weakness. Not in one big moment, but in thousands of small ones. Not with a loud battle cry, but with quiet consistency. There's nothing glamorous about discipline. It means showing up when you're exhausted. It means repeating the same task when it feels like it's not working. It means sticking to your principles when the world tries to shake you. And yet, that's where transformation lives. That's where strength is built. Not just in your body, but in your mind, your character, your life. You'll be tempted to give in. There will be days where everything in you says to quit, to rest, to take the easy road. That's when it matters most. That's when discipline does its real work. Because if you can push through when everything says stop, you gain control, not just over your actions, but over your mindset. You start being a slave to your feelings, and you start becoming the kind of person who leads their own life with intention. Start small. Start with what you can control today. You don't need to conquer the entire mountain. You just need to take the next step. Do the workout, write the page, make the call, practice the skill. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to act. Every time you choose action over comfort, you win a small battle, and those wins stack up. One decision at a time, you rewrite your identity. Action rewires your brain. It builds confidence. It creates momentum. You don't become disciplined by reading about it. You become disciplined by doing it, especially when it's hard. It is the cost of strength. That's the price of freedom. And nobody else can pay it for you. Understand this. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. If you want change, you have to fight for it. And your only real weapon is consistent, deliberate action. When it hurts, push. When you're tired, move anyway. When your mind screams that it's too much, stay calm and stay on course. That's how you win. Not once, but every day. You won't always feel proud in the moment. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if it's worth it. But months from now, years from now, when you look back and realize how far you've come, you'll know it was the discipline, the quiet, stubborn, relentless discipline that got you there. Not emotion, not motivation, not luck. Discipline. That's what builds your future. So fight back. Not loudly, not all at once, but every day, in every small way, with action. Comfort feels good. It's warm, familiar, easy. It gives you the illusion that everything is fine, that there's no need to rush, no reason to push, no cause for discomfort. It's seductive. It tells you to relax, to wait, to take the path of least resistance. But comfort, when left unchecked, becomes a cage. It locks you into patterns that feel safe, but slowly drain your potential. It whispers, this is good enough, even when your soul is screaming for more. It convinces you that risk is dangerous and that playing it safe is wise. But deep down, you know that comfort isn't the reward, it's the barrier. The truth is, most of the things worth having don't live inside the comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen there. Strength doesn't come from doing what's easy. Fulfillment doesn't rise from a routine that never tests your limits. When you romanticize comfort, you blind yourself to the cost of staying the same. Because every time you choose comfort over challenge, you delay in your progress. You settle for what's convenient instead of fighting for what's meaningful. And slowly you begin to shrink. Not all at once, but in tiny, almost invisible ways. You stop reaching. You stop trying. You tell yourself it's okay to take it easy, to pause, to postpone. But comfort, once it takes root, becomes hard to escape. Your weak self loves comfort. It thrives in it. It finds every excuse to avoid discomfort, pain, effort, and responsibility. It will do anything to keep you just where you are. Why? Because comfort doesn't require change. It doesn't require effort. It doesn't expose you to failure, judgment, or rejection. It lets you hide. It gives you permission to do less, expect less, and be less. And the more you give in to that voice, the more you become a prisoner of your own potential. But the strong self, the part of you that knows what you're capable of, that version doesn't seek comfort, it seeks challenge. It understands that discomfort is the path to growth. That pain, when chosen wisely, leads to strength. That struggle shapes character. Your strong self wants you to do hard things, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. It wants you to be accountable, to stand tall when others sit down, to face what's difficult, because that's where transformation happens. If you keep chasing comfort, you never know what you're truly capable of. You'll stay in a job you don't love because it's secure. You'll keep quiet in moments when you should speak because it feels safer. You'll avoid taking that leap because it might not work out, and slowly regret replaces progress. Because deep down we all know we're made for more, but more is never found inside your comfort zone. It's not that comfort is bad. We all need rest. We all need moments to breathe. But there's a difference between using comfort to recharge and using it to hide. When comfort becomes your identity, when every decision is based on what feels good right now, you sacrifice your future for the sake of temporary ease. And that trait is never worth it. Because the longer you stay comfortable, the harder it becomes to break out. Bosses weaken, confidence fades, dreams die quietly in the background. What you have to understand is that comfort is not the reward for progress. It's the enemy of it. The strongest people you admire, the ones who've built something, achieved something, changed something, they didn't do it by staying comfortable. They did it by choosing the harder path, by showing up when it was inconvenient, by doing the work when they were tired, overwhelmed, and scared. They earned their strength in discomfort. And you will too, if you really just stop running from it. So stop romanticizing the easy life. Stop telling yourself that avoiding stress is success. The most meaningful things in life come with pressure, with difficulty, with effort. Building something that matters, your body, your career, your purpose, will demand more from you than comfort ever will. And when you start to embrace that discomfort, when you start to lean into it instead of running from it, you begin to unlock a level of strength and resilience you didn't know you had. Every time you choose challenge over ease, responsibility over excuses, growth over stagnation, you become stronger. Not just externally, but internally. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe in your own ability to handle hard things. That's the real reward. Not the false peace of comfort, but the earned confidence of knowing you're capable of facing life head on. So take the hard route. Say yes to the challenge, step into the unknown, be uncomfortable on purpose. That's how you grow. That's how you rise. Comfort will always be waiting, always tempting you to stop moving. But you weren't built to stay still. You were built to evolve. And evolution begins the moment you stop chasing ease and start chasing what really matters. Every day, whether you admit it or not, a quiet war is happening inside you. It's not dramatic, not obvious to the outside world, but it's constant. It's the battle between the part of you that wants to push forward and the part of you that wants to give up, the part that dreams big and the part that says stay safe, the voice that pushes you to do more and the one that whispers, what's the point? This is not a flaw. It's not a sign that something's wrong with you. It's part of the process. Accepting that internal conflict is necessary means understanding that becoming your best self is not about eliminating the struggle. It's about learning to fight the right side of it. People want transformation without friction. They want to grow without resistance, to get stronger without pain. But that's not how it works. Growth and conflict are tied together. You cannot evolve without going to war with the parts of yourself that are trying to stay the same. And those parts won't go quietly. They will resist. They will argue. They will make convincing cases for why you should wait, pause, lower your standards, or simply stop trying. And if you're not aware, they'll win. Not because they're stronger, but because they're familiar. Because it's easier to believe the part of you that says rest than the part that says rise. Accepting this battle means you stop looking for peace where it doesn't belong. It means you stop waiting for the day when you finally feel ready, finally feel motivated, finally feel like everything inside you is in agreement. That day doesn't come. Even on your best days, there will be doubt. Even when you're making progress, there will be fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of conflict, it's their relationship with it. The winners wake up and expect resistance. They don't take it personally. They don't let it define them. They prepare for it and move through it. The weak self is clever. It doesn't scream. It speaks softly. It knows how to sound rational, how to twist logic. It will say, you've done enough when you still have more to give. It will say, you're too tired when really you're just bored. It will say, you can't handle this, even though you've handled worse before. It's a voice of every fear you absorbed and every limitation you've accepted. But it's not the truth. It's just a part of you that wants relief, not result. You can't make that voice disappear, but you can stop giving it control. That's what internal conflict is about. It's not about silencing the weak voice. It's about answering it. Every time it speaks, you respond with action. Every time it pulls you back, you take one step forward. You remind yourself why you started, what you're building, and who you want to become. You don't negotiate with that voice. You outwork it, you outlast it. There will be mornings you don't want to get up, days you feel like nothing's working, nights you wonder if it's even worth it. That's the war. That's the test. That's the place where most people quit. But you're not most people. Not if you're willing to stay in the fight. Because over time, something happens when you stop running from that conflict and start facing it. You build strength, not just physical strength, not just mental toughness, but a kind of personal power that can only be earned by doing what's hard, even when it would be so much easier to give in. The war inside you is where your character is forged. It's where you decide if you're going to keep living from habit or start living with purpose. It's where you define yourself, not by your feelings, but by your choices. You become someone different, someone better, every time you choose to do the thing you didn't feel like doing. That's how you kill the weak self. Not in one final act, but in 1,000 quiet moments when you say no to comfort and yes to challenge. You won't always feel noble. Some days it will feel like a grind. Some days you'll feel like a mess. That's okay. This battle is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about fighting for your future self, even when your current self is tired. It's about holding the line when no one is clapping, when no one sees, when no one cares except you. Because you know what's at stake. You know what kind of life you're building. And you know that peace comes not from avoiding the fight, but from learning how to win it. So accept the internal conflict. Embrace the battle. Don't wait for it to end. Show up ready to face it. The weak self may never disappear completely, but that doesn't mean it has to lead. Let it talk, let it doubt, let it scream, but don't let it decide. You're in control now, and every day you fight back, you get one step closer to the person you were meant to become. Becoming stronger isn't something that happens overnight. It's not a transformation you wake up to one day after reading a book, watching a video, or having a spark of motivation. Building the stronger you is slow. It's deliberate. It's unglamorous. It's the result of showing up on the days when it would be easier not to. It's the product of doing the work when nobody is clapping, when no one is validating your effort, and when every part of you wants to rest, quit, or delay. The goal was never to be perfect. It never will be. Perfection is an illusion that keeps people stuck. Progress, however, is real. It's earned. It's measurable not by how flawless you are, but by how often you choose effort over comfort, growth over stagnation, and truth over excuses. Each time you show up, even if it's not at your best, you're making a statement. You're saying that the stronger version of yourself is worth building, that your goals matter more than your mood, that the future you want is worth the discomfort it takes to get there. Even the small victories count. Every time you keep going when you're tired, every time you take the harder path when no one's watching, every time you speak up when your voice trembles, that's progress, and that's strength. That's the old version of you losing ground and a new one rising up. You don't need to make giant leaps to grow. You need to stack the small wins. You need to do the hard things consistently, even when it feels like nothing is changing. That's the hidden truth about building a stronger self. It often feels like you're failing. It often feels like you're not moving fast enough. But real change is subtle. It's internal before it ever becomes visible on the outside. You get stronger not just by lifting heavier or doing more, but by developing the mindset that keeps showing up even when the world doesn't notice. There will be days when you fall short, days when you mess up, skip steps, or give in. That's part of it. The goal isn't to never fall, it's to never stay down. Every time you get back up, every time you reset and recommit, you prove to yourself that you're not who you used to be. The old version of you might have quit. The old version might have used failure as an excuse, but not now. Now failure becomes part of your foundation. You build on it, you learn from it, you move forward anyway. The stronger you is not a perfect version. It's a resilient one. It's the version that holds the line when it's hard, that keeps showing up when it's not convenient, that does the work when the results are slow. That version isn't built by luck or talent. It's built by commitment, by repetition, by discipline. It's built by deciding again and again that the best version of you is worth the effort, even when the payoff feels far away. Every day is a chance to build, to grow, to move one step closer. Not by talking about it, but by doing it. The gym rep, the healthy meal, the deep breath instead of the outburst, the focus instead of the distraction, the work instead of the excuse. These aren't massive, life-changing acts on their own, but done consistently, they shift everything. Brick by brick, you're building something. You're building someone. And even if the world doesn't notice today, you will feel it. That's quiet strength growing inside. You're reshaping who you are and what you're capable of. You're not stuck, you're not broken, you're not weak, but you might be untrained, undisciplined, unfocused, and that's fixable. Every day gives you another opportunity to train, not just your body, but your mind, to choose better thoughts, to speak better words, to take better actions, to separate yourself from the version of you that gave up easily, that played small, that lived in fear. That version isn't who you are. It's who you were. And every time you make the hard choice, you leave them further behind. It won't be easy, but it's simple. Show up, do the work, keep going. When it hurts, keep going. When it's slow, keep going. When it feels pointless, keep going. Because the stronger you isn't built on perfect days. It's built on the hard ones, the ones that test you, stretch you, break you down a little so you can rebuild even better. And the more of those days you get through, the more unstoppable you become. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the stars to align. Just start right now in whatever way you can. Progress is waiting on the other side of effort. Strength is earned one choice at a time. And the person you want to be is already inside you, buried under fear, doubt, and habit. Dig them out bit by bit, choice by choice, day by day. You're not building perfection, you're building power. And that happens when you decide every single day to become the stronger version of you.